Good morning. Welcome back. Grade 10 Civics. Our course is now complete. Just a little house cleaning, or housekeeping, house cleaning, I don't know, housekeeping perhaps. I finally got a haircut, so I'm feeling a whole lot better about things. I hope you guys are keeping well, and I hope you have a good summer. I realize this spring has been very hard on everybody. I hope you have a good summer. Look forward to seeing you guys for real in September, not just on a screen. I hope we're all back. We do have this week, and I realize some of you are like, hey, I'm done. I don't have to listen to Fisher anymore. Fair enough, fair enough. Have a good summer. But I thought I would provide a little enrichment, some of the things we might have talked about in class or been able to go into in more detail with more time. The upcoming U.S. presidential election is going to get a lot of attention. This November, Americans will go to the polls and they will decide whether to re-elect Donald Trump for a second four-year term or to choose someone new. And it looks like his competitor is going to be Democrat Joe Biden. How does it work? How do they do that? It's different from our system, and I thought maybe I would go over this today, give you a little score sheet so that you can follow this in the fall if you're a little interested in politics. I've uploaded a map of the United States. I'm looking at it right now on my screen that you can take a look at, and you can see that each of the 50 states has a number in it, and it's got a color. The number refers to electoral votes. This is very important in how they do it in the United States. Some people just call them points. I mean, that works too. Each state has a certain number of electoral votes or points based on their population. So if you sort of look at all of them, you can see some of them have like 6 or 3 or 18 or 8. It's all population based. The larger your population, the more electoral votes you get, which that seems fair in a democracy. If you look on the far left side of the map, you see CA, which is California, 55. It's the largest state in the United States by population, almost 40 million people. That's more than all of Canada. So they get 55 points. The second biggest state, you see it at the bottom of the map, is Texas. It gets 38 electoral votes or points. Florida in the bottom right-hand corner. I imagine some of you have been to Florida, a little Disney World or winter vacation, get away from the cold. 29 electoral votes, and then they get smaller from there. And there's some little ones you can see. 3 is the smallest you get. South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming. Some of them are good-sized states, but they have just such a small population, they only get 3. Now, if you add them all up, you're going to get 538. It seems like an odd number. Anyone following American politics closely knows the number 538. Half of that is 269. In order to win, you need a majority, so that's 270. So people, this map in particular is 270towin.com. You can follow this as the campaign goes along, and they will update it. So the way this works is, and this seems a little odd, if you get the most votes in a particular state, you get all the electoral votes or points for that state. So for example, you look at California with 55, that's obviously the biggest prize. 4 years ago, some of you will remember Hillary Clinton. She was the Democratic candidate running against Donald Trump, the Republican candidate. California, Clinton got 8.5 million votes. Trump, 4.5 million. So she won easily. But how do you divide it up? 55 electoral votes, how do you decide how many go to Clinton, how many go to Trump? Is it a percentage? How does that work? No. Winner take all. So Hillary Clinton, because she won 8.5 million votes to 4.5 million, that's a pretty convincing win. She gets all 55 electoral votes. Trump gets nothing, 0. He lost, but he did get 4.5 million votes. That's still serious, but you get nothing. That's how they do it in the States. Texas, with those 38 electoral votes, Trump won this one. He had 4.5 million. Hillary Clinton about 3.5 million. That was closer, but it's still a solid win. But again, Trump gets all 38 electoral votes. Clinton, nothing. It's I'm not sure if that's a grade system or not, but that's how it works. Those are the rules. And I'll just do one more. Look at Florida in the bottom right-hand corner, 29 electoral votes. That one was really, really close. Donald Trump got 4,600,000 votes. Hillary Clinton, 4,500,000 votes. He won by just 100,000 votes out of almost 10 million. He got all 29 electoral votes, all of them. Clinton, nothing. So it's tough. I mean, it doesn't matter if you lose by a little bit or a lot, you get nothing. It's got to hurt when you get that close. I think the closest state of them all was Michigan, just down the road from us. It's got 16 electoral votes. Trump won by just a few thousand votes out of millions cast. It was super close. Again, he got all 16, Clinton, 0. That's how it works. There are only 2 states that divide them based on the vote. If you look on the map, NE, Nebraska, and up in the corner, ME, Maine. But it doesn't matter too much for what we're doing. So when you're watching the presidential election in the fall, keep that in mind. And of course, Biden and Trump know these maps, and they're certainly the people who work for them understand this. So some states just have a reputation. They have a lot more Democrats in them than Republicans. Some have a lot more Republicans than Democrats. So take a look at this map now. The dark blue states, you see them on the left-hand side, Washington, Oregon, California. You also see IL in the middle of the map. That's Illinois. That's where Chicago is. And then in the top right, you have New York, Vermont, and some other little ones. These are states that almost always vote Democrat. They're pretty much guaranteed. The dark blue. The dark red, you see those in the middle of the map, LA for Louisiana, AR for Arkansas, MS for Mississippi, and so on. These ones always go Republican. I mean, always. Interesting thing is, as the campaign goes along this fall, you're not going to see Biden or Trump spending much time in the dark blue or the dark red states. There's no point for Biden to spend time in California, Oregon, and Washington because he knows he's going to win those ones easily. So why waste your time? And Trump knows he's going to lose them by a lot, so why waste his time? The same thing in the dark red states. You're not going to see them in Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas very much because we pretty much already know how they're going to go. Now, when you look at the lighter red, almost pink, those are states that are probably going to go Republican for Trump, but not for sure. The light blue are the ones that'll probably go for Joe Biden, but not for sure. So you'll see them visit those states. But the most important, I don't know if they're the most important, maybe they are. The ones that will get the most attention are the gray ones. And there are 5 on the map at the moment. This may change. And of course, Florida at the bottom, 29 electoral votes. Pennsylvania up near the top at 20. These are states that are basically a toss-up. These could go away. They're going to be close. Somebody's going to win barely. Someone's going to lose barely. That's a lot of electoral votes up for grabs. You're going to see Trump and Biden in Florida a lot. 29 electoral votes up for grabs. One of them is going to win by a little bit. They both know it. So they're going to spend a lot of time down there. They're going to run a lot of TV commercials down there. They're going to have a lot of people, on voting day. They're going to have thousands and thousands of people down there. Hey, can I give you a ride to the vote? Are you voting for our guy? Can I give you a ride? Can I help you out? They want to get people out to vote. And Pennsylvania, 20 electoral votes, also very important. So it'll be exciting to watch, but this is a pretty good map. You can look at this anytime, 270towin.com. There are others, but it gives you a pretty good idea of how this all works. The only thing I'll just say in terms of predictions, if you look back at American history, American presidents that run for a second term almost always win, about 75 to 80% of the time. That's good news for Donald Trump. On the other hand, if you look at those few presidents that were elected, served a term, but did not get reelected, it was almost always one thing: a bad economy. And Trump, of course, with this pandemic, has a terrible economy right now. So that is a danger for him. The polls show that Joe Biden is doing very, very well. He's well ahead of Trump. But it's early. It's June, right? They don't vote till November the 3rd. It's a long way off. So you might want to follow this. The maps will change. Light blue will become dark blue will become light blue or become gray. The gray ones are super close. Yeah, I mean, I'll be watching. November the 3rd, I'll be up real late on that Tuesday night. I'll roll in Wednesday morning, little groggy, but I find it very interesting, and maybe some of you will as well. Take care.